A mother ran into the bedroom when she heard her 7-year-old son screaming. She found his 2-year-old sister pulling his hair. If you pull the hair, so you have to scream. She gently released the little girl's grip and said to the boy, to her son, "See, there, she did not mean it. She doesn't know that it hurts." He nodded his acknowledgement, and the mother left the bedroom. As she started down the hall, the little girl screamed. Rushing back in to know what's happening, she asked, "What happened?" The little boy replied, "She knows now." So he pulled her hair out. We live in a world which is many a time seems to be very violent. And that is the tragedy, because violence tends to grow when one person attacks another. It is luckily that the person who is attacked will strike back. Soon it is one blow after another in an increasing circle of pain and anger. In short order, the only option seems to be retaliation. Even though everyone knows that retaliation will be of benefit to no one and will only make things worse, but still, many a time, people react in violent way. Today's parable of the vineyard is a parable about violence. It is presenting God's attitude toward it. God, as usual, is the owner of the vineyard. The vineyard is this world. It is a violent world in which the tenants continuously beat and kill one another. What is the owner to do with the violent vineyard? He decides to send his son. Now, this at first seems like a foolish idea. Why would you send your son, someone whom you love, into such a dangerous place, knowing that they have stoned, killed all other servants? But the choice of the owner is the real point of the parable. This parable is telling us what God has done for us. This parable explaining all the Old Testament to the people of Israel, completely portraying what God has done in the past and what God is doing now. Through the parable, Jesus is explaining. We know last 3 to 4 weeks, all we talk about is forgiveness. All we talk about, comforting people. All we talk about accepting people. Last all the weeks. Perhaps it is the call of God to forgive, to accept, to acknowledge, to show love. It is the call of God. But the world is not the same. That is the first reading explains. God planted all the good things in your heart, in my heart. That's what God is doing. It is compared to the vineyard in the first reading. He took the ground, put a wonderful seed of the grapes, and he thought it will grow. He pruned it. He did everything the best he can do to the vineyard, but the produce, wild grapes. That means God has showed all the love and compassion. He has sent all the prophets. He has sent his own kings. He has sent all good people, messengers after messengers, prophet after prophets. When they went away from him to convert them from their path, he has sent, he has done everything. But still, people are giving back wild grapes in a violent way. Now God decides to send his own son. Like in the parable, the owner of the vineyard sending his own son, Jesus himself, though he was God, but became man and came to us. Why? In one way or another, the wild grapes, the violence has to be ended in this world. And that is the point of the parable today. Jesus is talking about forgiveness. Jesus is talking about loving the enemy. Jesus is talking about accepting the stranger. Jesus is talking about if somebody strikes your one cheek, turn the another. Yes, Jesus is talking about. But it's a way of talk? No. God became man to say, as God, I am turning my other cheek. As God, I am yielding to the enemies. As God, I am yielding to the violence. My way of doing is to end the violence, to starve the violence. It should not grow anymore. So God became man. So it is very injustice to your eyes and to my eyes, crucifying Jesus Christ on the cross, but he yielded to it. Why? By cross, violent has to be ended. God wants to end violence. And that's what Jesus telling this parable. The vineyard owner is extending or giving everything that he could, to show his love. Jesus came and he died on the cross. He has given us an example. Now, what is the call again? Not to keep growing with violence, but instead we are called to share only love. We are called to share only the mercy. We are called to share only the mercy, not anymore hurt, grief, or violence. That is the point of the parable today. Jesus has done it. This is the way of Jesus. This is not the way of the world. The way of the world is to react and to retaliate. We all know that. When we are hurt, we hurt back. We push back, reaction. But way of Jesus, he was hurt. By his wounds, we are healed. He was beaten. By his blood, we are washed clean. This is the way of Jesus. And to this way, Jesus is calling through the parable, through the readings. Because into us, he has put lot of his grace, lot of his love, lot of his forgiveness, lot of his gentleness. That's what the second reading. Another most beautiful second reading. Have no anxiety at all. With prayer and petitions, raise your own heart to God with grateful hearts. That's an important word. We have ups and downs in our life, but with grateful hearts, let us surrender. Have no anxiety. With a grateful heart, present yourself to God and try to keep up with whatever is holy, whatever is honorable, whatever is acceptable, whatever is gentle, and whatever is loving. Do that, and the abundance of the blessing of God will come upon us. And finally, violence begets violence, but God's love creates more grace and blessing. Prepare the way of Jesus, and you will be blessed.